Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
One word where you like. There's like completely different. Like,
Radiant team.
Unique to the country. But then within, obviously, like, this is the thing, like, they are languages, and then within the languages you have dialects.
Dire team pick.
So it's, yeah. Yeah.
Let's put the, let's get ready. I put the ads this time as well, so we're back to these 6-minute ads.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Templar Assassin.
Hello guys, and welcome back to the Epicenter Major Group Stages. We're here in the SEA Regional Qualifiers, casting these fantastic best of ones. Always exciting, but not always even. However, now we have one of the hypest matchups of these group stages. Fnatic versus TNC right here on your screens. My name... Let me... Can I say my name?
I'm so excited to talk about the draft. Go.
My name is D Swordfish here with Gareth. Gareth, go.
So remember we were talking about heroes climbing the ladder and this hierarchy of first phasing specific heroes and particular matchups. Medusa and TA coming into that first phase now. No longer are we seeing the kind of Earth Spirits. The Sand King does come out there with the Earthshaker, so they've got team fight into mid, like hyper carry or super core, right? In the Medusa and the TA, very much focused on giving Abed and Armel, the two star players on these two teams, an exceptional hero that they're comfortable on early on, and they'll be very much focusing their drafts and their bans now up against them. Banning out the Veno, the anti-mage to remove these kind of counters to these mid-heroes that both sides have picked. And they can mold their drafts around the team fight that Sand King and Earthshaker built into. I think one of the important things is here, looking at the first phase bans, Oracle, Enigma, Drow Ranger, all removed out.
5 seconds
You do take away a lot of the laning phase potential, along with Nature's Prophet, Darkseer, Venno. It is going to be difficult to have solid lanes with all of these kind of comfort picks being removed.
I like that they, because we talk about this mid matchup, you have, I would say, Abed is probably a hero that likes to snowball, usually from the early laning phase. So you pick a hero that puts a lot of pressure in the early laning phase, particularly that being Medusa, right? Whereas you give Abed a hero that can put pressure after the laning phase, that being TA. So they are both playing to their strengths. TNC is aware that in this kind of mid matchup, though Armel is a fantastically good player and he can definitely contest the laning stage, he needs to have a little bit of an edge. And though obviously Medusa is not that great against TA in general, you can still take out the mana, you can still harass her anyway, and you still pull pressure in general. Right? It's not like a matchup where you can just auto-win or you can get kills either, because the Mystic Snake will stop you from being able to spam your Refraction, ideally. Once you hit level 3, that's when the matchup really starts becoming more Medusa heavy. So
and she is Radiant side, so she has access to that medium count to follow.
Very true. So that's definitely a point of consideration for her.
But as the game goes on, TA, pretty damn good against the Dusa with the traps. Dusa very, very slow. The hero needs phase boots, needs Yasha, needs Hurricane Pikes, and any kind of maneuverability really to get away from that Templar Assassin. Again, because they don't have that saving hero in the Oracle, I don't think you can pick something like a Dazzle. Doesn't really fit with the way the game is played too much anymore. So I think both teams will start looking towards this all-out team fight and kind of instant nuke power to just dogpile onto a hero. TA and Dusa in particular are susceptible to getting kind of caught and killed if you have heroes such as Earthshaker into Lion or Shadow Shaman, or Bat Rider's a good one. That catch and kill, very important.
And he also has the ability to, if they do play Bat Rider support, which is still on the cards right now, could be. You could run Bat Rider mid and actually really help your Dusa. Absolutely crushes the TA, obviously. He's a lane dominator, so he's not a hero that proposes kills because he doesn't bring any catch to the table.
Or even just giving Armel Bat.
Pushes him out. What?
Even just giving Armel Bat, like having the Bat play that mid lane.
Yeah, you could, honestly.
Safe lane, you could just swap things around that direction.
Gabby has used to play mid, so he's very comfortable with the Dusa as well, right? So it's not a problem. Fnatic will go out for the Leshrac, though. Okay.
So Lesh Sand King again.
Very powerful combination.
Whether or not they're together in the lane, we don't know, but they are for sure a duo that brings the pain with their double stuns in that laning stage. And they can swap it from player to player. This could be their support duo, theoretically. We could have the kind of DJ Lesh with the jabs. Sand King.
It's not a bad support duo, especially when these supports like to divide farm between them often. You're saying the 4.5 supports. With Sand King only needing essentially one core item, and Leshrac is also only one core item. It's not bad to have like one support farm that first, probably a Sand King, and then give Sand King to DJ, I'd say, and then jabs on the Leshrac. It could work. Because they don't play the traditional 4 and 5. We'll see what TNC's answer is. I mean, they now have some pushing power here in Fnatic, both Desolator on TA and Leshrac's Diabolic Edict. And whoa! The answer is a Bristleback. Interesting. That is not something I was expecting at all. Bristleback is surprisingly good against TA because she has to have a very, very good positioning against you, right? And you can otherwise just absolutely murder her because she bursts you down and you get like a couple quill sprays and just one meld hit if she's not careful. In addition to obviously, TA not having the best agility game. I think it's 2.4 now, 2.5. Used to be 2.1. So you actually get a pretty nice amount of damage from the quill spray, which is physical damage. She is not the highest armor hero.
Silver Edge heroes in general this patch have completely fallen out of favor. We joked about Slag.
And Nyx has been banned.
Yeah, we joked about Slag earlier. He's just not a hero anymore. Nyx has been banned.
Nobody plays Troll Silver Edge anymore.
Heroes like Monkey King are still potentially out there.
Legion is not really playing, and she's a pretty hard counter to Bristleback.
That wouldn't be too bad, having Legion against Bat Rider and Bristleback.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick here.
The duality.
And against Earthshaker, actually, you stop the wombo combo from happening, right? Like, halfway through, you break the chain of stuns with the press the attack. It's very useful. Honestly, the Abaddon, though, still in the pool. And also a possibility.
Also very true.
Weaver.
No, why pick common heroes? Why? Let's go for the Weaver. I like it.
MP Weaver is one of his signature heroes.
It is.
And, if you're not feeling the Phantom Lancer, if you're not feeling you want to go that direction, Anti-Mage being banned, you need a hero that can lane against the Bat Rider if that is your position 3. Or even if it's just a support, you need to, some way to get out of danger from the sticky napalm stacks.
Yeah.
Where does this leave them, though? Still very versatile on the Sand King and the Lesh, but it looks like Abed and MP have their heroes locked in.
Yeah, you need an off-laner or a support here, unless you want to play off-lane Weaver, but I'm not a big fan of that right now. You need an off-laner that gives you some team. even if you already have a Sand King. You know, I wouldn't mind for Fnatic actually getting something like a Shadow Shaman, getting that just full-on catch lineup. I do like the way to stop the Bristleback. You get the burst damage we were talking about earlier, and the last bit of pushing damage, especially because Weaver and TA are not the best late-game heroes. And you're up against Medusa. The Abaddon ban, that was, I mean, we're talking about that one. That's obviously a really, really good hero here. You still have the option of the Legion for Fnatic as well to counter a couple heroes, including Bat and Bristle.
Oh, you know what's really good here?
What, for Fnatic?
For Fnatic. If they go Slardar, if they have Sand King and Lesh as their two support,
oh, wow, yes.
Slardar as their position 3.
Physical damage lineup.
They've got the Corrosive Haze, the Meld, the Swarm from Weaver. They've got tons of...
Diabolic Edict of the physical.
Exactly. Diabolic Edict's in there against the Bristleback, against the Medusa especially.
Yeah, I actually like that pick a lot.
Armor.
Radiant team pick.
Shadow Demon.
Okay. That's your second support, Shadow Demon.
It's a save up against the Batrider Lasso.
Yeah.
And Poison in lane against Bristleback actually ruins him.
It does. It's really, really strong.
I mean, it ruins anyone. Like 5-6 stacks of the Poison.
He's also good against Batrider in lane if you don't happen to be up against that.
And it's
still another lanes.
Great setup for Sand King Lesh. Both Burrow Strike and Split Earth love having that disruption to set up the team fights to begin.
You don't have much illusion spam, unfortunately, though, but not that big a deal. You can always do something like with TA or Weaver.
Medusa illusions.
Oh, that's true. I guess you can use the opposite team's illusion spam. Interesting. So it's a Bristleback carry, not a Bristleback, I'm assuming, unless that's a Centaur carry. Which is not that crazy, by the way. We'll see now. See, TNC is kind of playing around with this. I'm loving, by the way, that these guys said, I don't care about the meta. I'm going with the heroes. We have a pocket set for this because we've been planning this.
The Gabby Bristle. I feel like I've seen it before.
He's definitely played Gabby Bristle before. But
AU Batrider. I just don't know.
You don't know. Gabby could beat Gabby's played Centaur before as well, huh?
Not since the changes to return and Manta style and stuff, right?
No, they did that with essentially when Retaliate. Okay, it's going to be Gabby Bristle. He played it with the Retaliate changes.
Oh, really?
We can play. I mean, he's actually not that bad. Like, obviously not in a pro game, but it's like a fun little thing to do. The issue with that is that oftentimes you just ignore the Centaur and he deals no damage, right? That's why you don't play him carry.
This is an obnoxious timing hit from TNC. Again, we come back to this Deucer being very much more of a mid-game timing hero around kind of 25 minutes. You know, you clear some stacks, you clear some Ancients, and you've got yourself triple Wraith Treads, Manta style, ready to rock and roll. I'm just wondering about Gabby and Cuckoo's item builds this game, though, because they do have some redundancy and overlap potential there with the kind of Greaves, Pipe, Crimson Guard, depending on what direction they go. But I feel like Cuckoo here, something like Vanguard into Blink, while Gabby goes for the Greaves, could be super nice to keep that Medusa rolling when they get...
Let Centaur go for the Crimson Guard Pipe, right? Gabby Greaves. And then give Gabby, for example, an SNY for the status resistance as well. To evade the...
Or Radiance, even.
A Radiance, even. I wouldn't mind that, but then you're...
Shadow Demon.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to get Radiance against Shadow Demon. But I wouldn't mind SNY, honestly, on Bristleback. I think status resistance is quite strong here. Or even a Heaven's Halberd, actually. Stop the TA or the Weaver. Or, sorry, SNY, they can later be turned into the Heaven's Halberd if you want to. Like, you have a lot of variability here on the lanes. It's the most disgusting Immortal, that thing. Like, imagine if someone put genuine... No, they're running.
That means they win, right?
I love that they didn't figure out how the running animation will work with Weaver and Sand King, and they're just, like, weirdly scuttling about, like, in a very... Oh, and by the way, since we have a Weaver in this game, we can finally settle an argument yesterday. Weaver is indeed an ant. It doesn't have 8 legs.
Yeah. No, there was no argument. We both agreed.
Oh, okay. Is Weaver a man or a woman?
It's a he.
It's a he? So when I call him she...
Lacoste also calls it she, and he will not accept... So in the lore and in the flavor text, it always refers to Weaver as a he.
It's because I guess in Warcraft 1 the Weaver was a she, so I think that's...
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was the Weaver.
Oh, the Nerubian Weaver, of course.
Yeah, it literally didn't even change the name, yeah. So I guess... Yeah, I'm a big fan of the gender swap. I'm sticking with the she. I believe in Lacoste. Maybe it's not a coincidence that we're both not native English speakers, you know. We just see everything as women.
30 seconds to battle.
Anyway, I'm glad we settled that.
It's a trap.
The arachnid versus insect debate in this game is very important. When we get another broodmother, we can finally settle that as well. Because you said it's not a real spider, so...
I mean, I've talked to someone who's like an expert in spiders, and they said...
And also plays Dota.
And also plays Dota, and they said, yes, it has 8 limbs, but it has like 3 legs, and 2 of the limbs are some other word, which are like eating hands or some like... That's how they described it to me. It's like those are the limbs they use for eating, not for walking. So it doesn't technically have 8 legs.
That's level 1 nasal goo. Interesting. But you're gonna combine that with AU sticky napalm. That is rare level 1 nasal goo.
Like, congrats, you just spent like 200 mana doing nothing.
Well, yeah, but on top of that, what do you think
like,
of that?
Fnatic got 3 bounty runes.
I mean, there's no way that was nasal goo just to guarantee the bounty runes. Because Quill Spray just... No, there's no way you went to nasal goo to guarantee the bounty runes. You want to get first blood with this nasal goo.
It must be the combination with the sticky napalm.
Yep.
But I don't see how they have the damage to finish anyone off.
I mean, it is quite strong, actually, now that I'm seeing it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but it just by sticks, right? DJ already has 5, like he's got 1. He has 5 1 charges. Nice charge by AU.
Doesn't really matter what you get, you still have that, right? Like your bristleback in Bat Rider lane. It is the sticks are the hardest counter of this lane.
Yeah, but Goo is giving stick charges for nothing. At least
right. Full spray deals damage.
Full spray deals damage and forces people to use the stick charges for gaining them, right? So you have that balance back and forth.
But Quill Spray does cost considerably more, right?
Yeah.
More than double of the mana cost, almost triple the mana cost.
But again, it does damage.
Well, yeah, but if you hit them, I see your point. Can I just silver lighting? Can I silver lighting them?
Damage.
I'm trying to see. I find it fascinating. I like seeing a new build.
Damage. What's damage in Spanish?
Daño, hace daño. Oh.
Daño. Ándale.
Yeah, that's not what we say. Nobody says that.
Arriba.
I'm not Mexican. There's a whole ocean between us. You know that. Jesus, imagine I called you American. How would that feel?
I grew up watching that cartoon with a little mouse.
Speedy Gonzales.
Yeah,
everyone quotes that to me.
Of course.
For some reason.
Classic British colonialism and racism in action. I'm so sorry. Abed's taking a bit of a beating. He's holding on the refraction charges, but a very close kind of tightrope act here between the TA and the Dusa, forcing plenty of regen to bounce between the two of them.
Level 3 almost coming out in Dusa, and this is huge, right? This is when the Mystic Snake starts to take away all your mana, and refraction becomes a really valuable resource because you can't always get it off. And Armel, I'm assuming he's not even going to let it bounce. Like, he doesn't care. He just wants to get the, he wanted to get the Mystic Snake there. He just wants to get the mana away from Abed. TA can still fight with that refraction, but it's quite difficult.
So Fnatic have kind of a minus armor and decent amount of magical physical damage push strat, right? TNC have a damage mitigation strat. Bristleback with the Bristleback. His build is going to have a hood in it, it looks like. Centaur, likely the Vanguard, and of course he's got Stampede with the Axe potential there. Medusa with Mana Shield. So many ways to reduce damage on this Radiant side. It might come to a point where Fnatic actually struggle to find kills. Especially on core heroes. The 3 cores of TNC can become close to unkillable if they get the correct itemization at the right times, as Cuckoo.
That's a very nice stomp, but the poison might still kill him. He has 1 more poison, 3 stacks, that should be enough.
They want to give it to MP, I feel, but Jabs is going to snipe it out.
Yeah, Jabs just gets it.
But MP's chasing this and he gives up on a bit of a creep wave.
Right, so how much? I actually just wanted to calculate that. So that's 3 stacks, so 1 stack is 22, it's 43, is 80. No, he needed the 4th one. Okay. Wow.
Quick maths.
Quick maths. That was actually correct quick maths, though, which was my first in the stream, so I'm quite proud of myself there.
Wow.
And you're right, but you do have Fnatic having pretty high mobility heroes, assuming the TA does go for the Blink Dagger, of course. And I wouldn't mind a Hurricane Pike on Abed as well this game. So, that's a really nice Mystic Snake. You have heroes like Sand King, Weaver, and the TA who can position themselves properly and ignore their Bristleback, ideally, the ability, not the hero. And you could see, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Diffusal Blade build for the Weaver. Maybe Dragonlance Diffusal Blade with a Mana Break talent, just to deal with the Dusa. And honestly, that Diffusal Blade plus the Mana Break talent is great at dealing with Bristleback as well, unless you go for Greaves. So, I think there's ways for Fnatic to deal with this, and as long as they have okay lanes and they come to this mid game decently strong, that TNC Power Peak won't hurt that much. But you were saying this in the draft, right? The TNC Power Peak is very... It's not only simultaneous, everyone has a very similar power peak, but it's also very powerful.
It is super strong, and it might even tie in with, for example, the Earthshaker Blink Dagger, right? Tim's very good at getting that timing going around 25 minutes. So if we look at all the item timings, ideally here for TNC, you're going to have Earthshaker Blink 25 minutes, Centaur with, Vanguard plus maybe half a blink, maybe the full blink, depending on how his laning stage goes, but definitely a tank item with, level 10 or so with Medusa having the triple or quad Wraith bands, the upgraded boots, maybe a 4-stab or a Dragon Lance, and then Bristlebank with his tanky items, a hood. It looks like he's actually going to go Vanguard himself, so it might be Gabby that goes for the Crimson Pipe, and they skip out on the green.
Wait, no. If he goes Vanguard, Gabby's not going to go for Crimson, right? Oh, right. Never mind. No. I'm stupid.
I'm not sure. They could both go double they could go double Vanguard and one goes Crimson. We'll
and one goes Abyssal. We could see Gabby going Abyssal, right?
Yeah, I mean, when people queue big items this early on, it's very much they feel like they want to go to, but they'll have that internal discussion with their teammates of what's happening and what they need.
Isis could die here. Nice split Earth though, but the Cosplay starting to stack up. They have the Sentry as well. Isis is quite slow. They could net this tower. He's going to try the TP away. Could just die. Yeah, AU with one hit takes away a considerable chunk of HP. DJ's falling after him with that ball getting activated, but he's going to evade the split Earth. Yeah. Very good dodge there by AU, but he might still be going down. He gets close to the creeps. Still has the magic stick used in the last second. Gabby has the Soul Ring ready so he can continue attacking and has enough mana to constantly use that cool spray plus the sticky nasal goo. They get the flame break off, but it pushes him away. Unfortunately, that flame break was a bit too hopeful by AU in the top lane, though.
Level 3 retaliate with a Fisher to start things off into the Stomp double edge. Weaver, 800 HP. Didn't really stand a chance against that kind of control and nuke damage. Wonder where the SD was. It looks like Jabs is actually down towards the bottom spot near the triangle, stacking camps for now to build up the TA's bank. Leaving that Weaver alone in a 1v2, not ideal for Fnatic as this laning stage eventually starts to slip away from them a little bit. Yes, TA top of the pops, 32 and 11, but then you've got this triple green as the 3 cores of the Radiant side are very... they've got staying power, right? That's the most important thing. They can stay and play the lanes indefinitely pretty much. As Gabby does get caught down bottom shrine, he's low HP and I think he might just die. Oh, maybe not. That shrine gets popped just in time. AU comes in with a save. Jabs forced the TP away. The Fisher from Tim's still on cooldown. Didn't have the mana for it either. But Gabby so close to death there. Popped his Soul Ring and very nearly just fell flat on his face to this Shadow Demon, who, if he was level 3 on Jabs, second point in poison most certainly would have gathered them a kill.
Yeah, but instead the shrine was used in time, and Gabby, he's not in the best of HP though. He had to use the shrine in a defensive way, right? He might be forced to go back to base while the Batter stacks for him. He is going to stack on his way. But yeah, Gabby, I don't know if he's getting regen here on the courier. No, nothing yet. So he will be forced to go back to base and TP back in. Not the best. I mean, you are forcing to carry out a lane. ISSI gets a bit of space now to actually farm up. And we're talking about Tim's Blink Dagger, but ISSI's Blink Dagger is also quite crucial here for Fnatic if you want to start getting that early game catch.
Now we get into our favourite part of the game. We're starting to set up for the 10-minute runes and also the catapult waves coming in. Everyone's trying to de-ward mid, trying to set up around this mid lane, pressure in towards the supports that have gathered to try and defend this Medusa. And they've already got the Dire team, actually, a deep ward, scouting out that northern Radiant Shrine. So they see Armel taking a couple of stacks. Maybe they could make a play into that area, but no. TP's come in. Earthshaker will be guarding this Dusa with his dear life. But you can see here the way that TA plays against the Dusa with the traps into the camps and the ability to slow her swing from, medium camp to her right to the stacks and the ancients to her left. TA does reasonably well catching up, or evening things out even.
I mean, she's putting out the traps in already very crucial places to make sure that any farming route the Medusa takes ideally is hindered by these traps, and you can potentially gather a kill. The supports are near you as well. You were talking about the Medusa's... Oh, that's a nice TP cancel. And should be a kill on Cuckoo, but the setup stun, nice with double Akita. Cuckoo is in trouble and is dead now. With Fnatic taking that kill, that's actually quite important. Cuckoo was doing very well for himself, almost leading net worth chart. Now it's ISIS who takes that role.
The strength of the SD Lesh. We've not seen it for quite some time, but this was a golden pairing, an absolute classic. Disruption into Split Earth and the damage you get from Lesh. And here it comes. Mid-tier 1. Fnatic get the upper hand with the movement they made, forcing TNC back and away. They won't get the tower kill, and that Fisher causing problems for DJ as Tim's cuts him off at the pass. Lesh Striker Speedy boy will walk it off, though. And they do defend their tier 1, so nice maneuver from TNC. Really does alleviate a lot of that pressure coming through from Fnatic, and it's going to be this back and forth, this head-to-head in the mid lane for quite some time. Wouldn't be surprised just to see 8 or 9 heroes mid when we get to that next catapult wave, honestly. Mid tower's incredibly important when you've got Medusa versus TA, because jungle camps, ancient stacks, very, very vital to try and contest or finish off. And that's what Abed is doing right now, taking this time to go and clear out the ancient stack off to the east. Has himself a medium and a large camp stacked as well. I mean, how much gold is this? Is it like a 1,200 gold burst for Abed?
We'll switch to net worth now and see how much that changes. I mean, Ice is still leading, but I mean, he was doing very well for himself now with...
So he was 3,600 before he started this.
So that's 500 gold from the Ancient Camp.
Like 500 from Ancients, then there's another...
You can stack him once again.
400?
I don't know if he's even going to try. It's a bit difficult when it gets to this many creeps, so it kind of bugs out for you. I love that you can actually see it says the stack now. Thought it was too easy, guys. Yeah, he's not going to get... Oh, he is going to get the stack there, and he's going to clear the 2 camps. 3,600 when he started, you said.
Yeah. So he's going to be like 1.2, 1.3k gold.
That's really nice. What's the time on that blink dagger? What, 11-minute blink dagger, more or less?
He's going to have it.
With the last camp? I don't think so.
He's
a bit off.
With the big Ancients.
Oh, right, yeah, the Ancients there. Yeah, you're right.
He's going to be a bit off. He's going to be like 150 off, right?
More or less. But he almost has it. So let's say 11 to 12 minute... No, 11 like and a half minute blink dagger. That's pretty nice timing.
Does he try these Ancients? They're a bit annoying.
Nah, you should anyway, because you're so close to
He's
the
got refract, yeah.
Yeah. And he has a trap as well. Right? I love that we've just been watching this guy farm for a while, but it's very satisfying. The most important thing
happening, like nothing else is happening.
I mean, it is very important to watch him see, or to see if he gets the blink dagger.
70 gold off the blink. Super sick timing. And look at the acceleration there. All of a sudden, he goes from being dead even with the Medusa to being 600 ahead just with those stacks. And Armel has been farming jungle at
She's doing the same thing, right?
The same pace, to the same rate. It's just the fact the stacks were built by Jabs.
Yep. Jabs was very good at building those stacks, and TNC tried to have more impact in the lanes instead, but Fnatic comes off a little bit better from this laning stage, mainly because Ice has a really, really good lane down bottom. And we're going to see Ice now maybe in trouble, gets the Burrow Strike off. He still has 4 sticky napalm stacks, so there's no way he's getting out of this alive, unfortunately. Ice will have to die. And Gabby does get that kill, so that's a bit of gold for him, but currently Gabby, is not being the TA by any. He's not even close to being the TA, 1,000 gold away because of those stacks. And the TA already has the blink dagger, which means more positioning against the bristleback and an easier way of getting closer to the Medusa.
Abed just going in on Tim's. Can't finish the tier 1 though. I think it does it. Now Stampede in. Abed forced to refraction with the Firefly on top. AU will lasso him back. And look at this, TNC, 5-man maneuver in. I said there were going to be 8 or 9 heroes mid, and it looks like we're going to have a massive team fight. Tower dropped as DJ clears it up, but he'll lose his life in the exchange. Now Tim's falling as MP's arrival does time that's back for the 2-man Burrow Strike. With the Epi, he can't chase Gabby, the bristle's too tanky, he'll go for Cuckoo instead. A quick double edge doesn't get Jabs. Will earn up and walk it off. But my goodness, we get a 5v5 middle lane battle with the tier 1 from the Radiant side falling, though it is Fnatic to take the advantage.
What a great play there by DJ. You see, just walks in right from here, like, screw it, I don't care about this team fight, I'm killing the Medusa. He saw her, they're low on mana, but she was playing to try to get the experience range, right, the gold range, and he punishes her so hard for that. Very well played there by DJ. Support for Medusa is so worth it. He actually initiates so that they can take more kills from that. So, honestly, Fnatic stabilized that very, very well, even though TNC does get the TA in the beginning.
It really is just so indicative of how important these teams see the mid-tier 1s. You think about the Liquid game.
Yep.
I can't remember who they were against, but they went for that mid-tier 1 before the creep spawned.
Oh yeah, the 5-man push mid.
Yeah, they didn't get the tower. They took it down real low. But this is how important the mid-tier 1s are. It opens up the entirety of the jungle because you can pivot from the mid lane north, if you're Radiant north and then east to go into the triangle or to the northern shrine. And it allows you to collapse and connect onto the tier 2s. As bottom lane, Fnatic looking to set up for a tier 2 grab yet again. Ice in the Sandstorm. DJ there with the 4 points in Edict. Trying to chip away at the tower. But mid, they're setting up for a fight. Setting up to defend Cuckoo. Centaur is being chased by Jabs, but Tims with a TP in will save the Centaur's life and get a kill.
Bit too confident there, I would say, by Jabs. His positioning, hoping to kill the Centaur, but he's one of the tankiest heroes, and especially to the magical damage of all things. And I just want to look at the Centaur, and so he did go for the Vanguard in the end. We do see Bristleback still, in theory, going for the Vanguard, but Centaur already has it. So it could be that one Vanguard gets turned into Abyssal. It's not uncommon to see Abyssal on Bristle.
And it's not necessary to finish your items, right?
No. You could just keep it as Vanguard for a while, just be the tanky whether you want to be. Like, a lot of Bristles don't even finish pipe, right?
I think Timber and Bristle are the two heroes primarily that do that. You know, the kind of Hood and the Vanguard, because you want the damage block and you want the magic resistance and you want the HP and the regen.
They're cheap items anyway. You farm quite quickly.
You don't necessarily want to expend that additional gold to finish them off. Yes, it helps your team, but it doesn't help you. And sometimes when you're these big beefy boys, you have to be a little bit selfish in your item progression.
Yeah, totally. It's okay to want to play, like, not entirely play considering your team in terms of the utility items that you get, especially if you're Bristleback. He plays a very particular role when you play him as a carry, where you are unkillable, and that actually is useful as opposed to most carries, as we saw in the PL game, because you deal damage just by existing with your quill stacks. And we see the smoke. Yeah, the smoke is from Loda high with a bad rider discovering them. Not the best smoke. Center from behind. Weaver's here though. And they catch the Center with the preparations. Stampede comes out in time, but Center's already dead. But now Cuckoo, how do they fight this? They get a lasso off onto the Shadow Demon, stopping that disruption from coming out. The Echo Slam as well, killing off the poor Shadow Demon, but in comes a melt. Abed with a melt destroys Tims as MP falls after a melt, hoping to get that kill. He does have level 10 already. And he's going to be able to kill off AU instead. Now chasing after the Dusa. Well, he wasn't in the best position at teamfight, to be fair. Now they're actually chasing after him, so maybe he's not even that tanky. They didn't get the Spirit Vessel off on him. Gabby's going to go down. Ice, canceling him with that Spirit Vessel.
Full Spirit Vessel, beautiful pickup from Ice. I wanted the Slardar, you know, I really would have liked that minus armor, but who the hell needs it when you've got level 4 Meld? Abed just crushing that Bristleback, even with his back turned. So much physical damage being pumped out by Fnatic. And like you mentioned, that soul release from the Sand King, reducing all of that Bristleback's regen coming through.
So, I've never used the name of the active for the Spirit Vessel in my life, so soul release, interesting.
But what's the Bloodthorn active called?
Just silence.
No?
What's it called?
I think it's Soulburn. Mine's in German. You can check. Open up the shop and see.
Soul Rend.
Soul Rend.
Right.
And you're Soul something.
Yeah.
Maybe Orchid is Soulburn.
It's interesting that I've never checked that. I think Orchid might be Soulburn. I think you're right.
Okay.
I know Mjolnir static charge. That's the height.
Static charge is the important one.
Yeah. Cuckoo is going to be killed off here with the TP.
Good attempt with the Fisher from Tims, but doesn't catch. If that catches DJ, the TP completes, but ever so slightly off the mark.
Good positioning there as well by DJ, right?
And now Fnatic start to build their lead.
Look at this, by the way. DJ's actually the one that built mech here for Fnatic. So I like this boy a lot. You have a Lesh that's going to be hard to kill. He has mech right now. Should be able to save himself here. Starts the mana for it. Is the mech. Beautiful effect as well.
So right here, 17 minutes. The next 8 minutes or so, incredibly important for TNC, because they have this Medusa with a Manta Style. She's about to hit level 15 to get that Mystic Snake talent. And of course, we were saying before, you play around Medusa's talent and item timings as best you can. They need to take this mid-tier one. That's the most important thing for them now.
I like that Abed takes that bottom tier too, though. You do want to also try to take away the Medusa's farm in their own jungle. You have a lot of offensive wards here for Fnatic. He's trying to control this triangle that we always talk about. I mean, look at these awards. Like, they're literally, protect this area right here. Make sure they can't go near their mid lane, and therefore you stop any rotations this way, rotations this way.
Smoke time from Fnatic again, though. They really want to pile the pressure on and stop. But, TNC, they want to go forward and play. That's what they need to do, because they've got two tanky heroes in the Centaur Bristle. They've got Medusa, who is incredibly difficult to kill, and plenty of damage between them. But it's difficult to make movements. DJ's taking top tier 1. You've lost that tower.
Ooh, smoke by TNC as well. I don't know, they were aware of the smoke, but they just go for a counter smoke here. You have a blink on the Centaur. Pretty big. No blink on battery just yet. Doesn't really need it if the Centaur can catch someone regardless. They go for the Shadow Demon first, and they can stop no disruption anymore. And they go the Shadow Demon, lasso on the Weaver as well. Ideal. And the Stone Gate has been used a bit too early, perhaps. Ice, no Epicenter, but they're still going to fight this. They're all bunched up, but there's no area damage because of lack of Epicenter. It's a bad who starts hitting, and oh my god, Cuckoo ceases to exist. How'd they go for Armel next? He's almost on a mana. The burst hits too, because Ice perfectly lines it up. Yeah. And Armel is going to die here in the jungle together with Tims following in his footsteps.
This game's over.
Fnatic is... No, you know what? Not Fnatic. Abed is ridiculous. Did you see? It's a Centaur, and you treat him like he's made out of paper.
It's the draft. Again, you have this Soul Catcher, which removes 30% of that Centaur's HP, like immediately. Then you've got the Meld Strike, the dash from Abed takes another like 60%. The Centaur's left on 10% HP. What do? You've got to run away or die. And he tries to run, and then he dies anyway. Immediately into the Roche Pit they go. Abed and MP pairing up to take down the big man. As MP has not only finished off that Diffusal Blade, but has the Mana Break talent as well. So plenty of physical damage coming out from Fnatic to go along with that minus armor they have. And they've really swung hard into this one. Bristleback feeling impotent. Vanguard Hood can't do too much. AU wanted to support Batrider, has a lasso in 20 seconds, but it's all too little too late as Tim's, his blink has been delayed, and he's dead again, and Gabby sprinting away as he does kill off DJ. The Centaur stomp onto the TA, but there's Ice. In with the Burrow Strike and Epicenter yet again. TA will escape, but it's a buyback from Tim's to get the Echo down, and the Sand King looking to pull, but Arvid blinks in. Aegis is popped, but Armel's Deucer is gone. Might be forced to buy back in a second because Fnatic are running rampant through this fight. The lasso does grab them another, but Arvid's still going wild. Might have to back up though. Blink in a couple of seconds time. Looking for the finish on the Gabby with the side blade. Spills. Bristleback barely survives with his life as AU keeps the napalms up on him. This Templar Assassin playing with fire though.
Yeah, but she is perfectly fine, gets away and literally unscathed right from this team fight. They can't even go for her. They're concentrating on the Weaver, which is fine actually, because Weaver's actually destroying the Deucer in the backlines, and the Weaver did a really good job there of managing to cut the lane and, well, get the kills they were looking for. Sorry, cut the team fight and get the support kills early, while Abed destroyed the rest of the team and take most of the damage. You do lose a lot there as Fnatic, but of course, like you mentioned, the kill on the Deucer quite valuable, and as long as Abed stays alive, your early to mid-game domination is clear. He's also going for a BKB next, which means he is going to be God in these next team fights. There's no way of stopping him. Yeah, you have the lasso, but there's no damage over time to cancel his refraction. So
the one thing that Fnatic missed out on was the tier 2. You know, they dived real deep right towards tier 3s for that team fight.
Yep.
If they got the tier 2 there, losing the Aegis is, perfectly reasonable. Abed, just a little bit of an overextension to get that Medusa kill to finish her off. But it's going to be round 2 in a couple of seconds. I would very much like to see Fnatic go for another smoke, as DJ has already pushed out the mid lane. They're going to regroup, pushed out the top lane, and they'll regroup mid. Smoke should be on the Courier or on Shadow Demon. There we go. Yeah, immediately snap back into action. We'd love to see this. Fnatic will go and try and kick it into 5th gear. 8k lead, 18-13. Already looking like they are in the driving seat. Cuckoo in a spot of bother if he gets jumped by this Blink Sand King. Spirit Vessel holding the Burrow Strike for as long as he can.
Nice.
Catches him through the Stampede, and in comes the Lesh, the TA. They'll be able to slow down this Centaur. Clip him with a Split Earth.
That Spirit Vessel dealt so much damage today.
Yeah.
The Soul Release absolutely decimate the Centaur. They even find the Batrider here for the disruption. It's going to be another easy kill for them as long as MP is there. AU has nowhere to go. And
I just don't see Medusa getting, like, Skadi is a good item on Deucer, but I don't think it remedies the situation you're in.
No.
And I don't see Bristleback or Centaur buying an item which allows them to win the game.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Hurricane Pike here on the Deucer, for example, as opposed to the Skadi.
It's real tough, honestly.
Just to deal with the TA, right? Jumping on you and at least getting some space between you two, because otherwise, like...
I would honestly like to have seen a Vlad's on one of these heroes, whether it be the Bristle or the Centaur, just someone.
Yeah, Bristle Vlad's would have been nice. He's going for Solar Crest next, so he's playing full utility Bristle as well. So you pick a carry that's going full utility, together with a Centaur that's going also a lot of utility. And look, it's actually Cuckoo that's going for his 4-staff. I actually like this. I think it's a necessity. You need 4-staffs in this team to help your Deuce out, because she's way too slow.
Yeah, I mean, your supports, like Batrider has no money, ideally wants a Force or a Blink, but never going to get there. Earthshaker needs his Blink Dagger to be a part of this game, and he's 1,000 gold off of it. So you need, like, you've got no Glimmer, you've got no Force, you've got no Lotus Orb, you have no saves at all. You know, coming back to that discussion we had earlier about Oracle getting banned and not having a hero like an OD, you don't have that way to delay or slow down the fight or even reset. For instance, when we've seen Naga Siren, it gives you a save.
Then again, it didn't really work out, right?
No, it didn't work out, but the idea is there, the kind of process is still there.
Meanwhile, you have and Fnatic, you do actually have that, the disruption on the Shadow Demon, right? That they know how important that is. The Oracle style picks, the Shadow Demon style picks, that sustain or even to some degree the save is very, very valuable. And Fnatic has used it much more efficiently. Just having tanky heroes is nice, but clearly Gabby is not as tanky as he was hoping for. There's a reason not many people pick Bristleback, and the mobility on Fnatic has been enough to counter that passive. And now we'll see another smoke this time coming from TNC, but it does unless I'm mistaken, I think it's a blind smoke as well. So they're just hoping to catch someone out, and they're going the entirely wrong way as well. Maybe they could find Ice here in the mid lane, but he's behind a tier 1, so he should be quite safe. And this tier 1, by the way, has not been touched.
And literally, look at bottom as well. But like both of the remaining tier 1s here, full HP.
Jeez. I mean, bottom is not that important. We're talking about how important the tier 1 in the mid lane is.
It's just the fact they don't have any objective that they can kind of connect into. You know, if they make this smoke play into, you know, think of it as like threading the needle, right? They make the smoke play between the two towers, and then they can deviate and split to one or the other, depending on where the creep waves are. They do get some good wards down. Their vision game, it increases, but a smoke from Fnatic is coming through to this Radiant jungle and catching AU, immediately blowing him up. Tim's Fisher, it didn't do anything. The Stampede is forced, and Tim's just trying to sprint away from these aggressive hordes of heroes that Fnatic are throwing his way. Ice with the burst strike into the fog will catch the Earthshaker and quickly dispatch him.
He has been very precise with his burst.
DJ mid, by the way.
Oh, he's actually just destroyed the tower alone. Jesus Christ, he forces a TP, split Earth a bit too early. But he still has that mechanism, though, and Disruption is ready for Kuku. Yeah, there's no Stampede for Kuku right now. Hobbit is with them, but at least they do find another hero, that being Gabby. Can they kill him in time? They're just hitting him from behind. Not the ideal situation for a Bristleback, but apparently damage is sufficient anyway. Look at that. The splash kills him, and now the Centaur as well in the wrong position. Meld literally decimates this poor Centaur. See you on the other side, says Fnatic, as they cook the Centaur away.
And now it's very simple. Fnatic have one thing to do on the map. Roshan isn't alive. They don't care bottom lane. So all they have to do is fall back to Shrine, heal up DJ, push out top lane, keep this mid lane pushed in onto the tier 3s. But there's no way that they commit for high ground here. Surely not. Maybe Abed goes to hit it once with a Deso. No, he says absolutely not. I am running away.
Yeah, the Disruption, like, no, don't run away. I'm using your illusions at least.
They really should just swing into
this
the
was
top lane.
The illusions didn't even get. They didn't even reach the tower. Yeah, I think the last tier 2 is not putting pressure. I mean, you were talking earlier about threading the needle, right? The map for TNC is so small. The maneuverability they have when it comes to any...
The map is there.
That's the map.
That's the line.
And that's only because this tier 2 is kind of still alive, and the shrines are still alive, because soon the map is going to become essentially this.
I guess they do have the one ward down near bottom rune spot, so you could maybe extend into these camps here.
That's very hopeful, though, because there's an offensive ward here.
So their map... yeah, I mean, it's down there. I think you can...
It's about to expire.
You can expand it to... Maybe the shrine is the limit, for sure. Like, the shrine is like the hard limit. You do not go past this unless you're smoked and your group's looking for a play.
And once the tier 3 falls, the shrines will become...
Tim's down bottom, 600 off his blink.
And he might die to the Sanking alone. Ice
blind again, so sick. But he went through the trees and didn't...
he didn't realize he got him. Wow. Ice is so good, he doesn't even realize how good he is.
So coming back to Tim's, you know, I said very clearly 25 minutes was when he usually gets his, you know, Blink Dagger kind of at the latest, and it ties in with a Deucer, Skadi +1, the Bristleback Vanguard Pipe. Everyone else has their items, but not Tim's, and that is a massive problem when the Earthshaker is, you know, absolutely vital in taking team fights here. That Blink Echo Slam really is one of their only hopes in turning this game around from a 14,000 net worth deficit that they're currently facing.
I mean, I was telling you this yesterday, right? The Earthshaker is that kind of pick where it's very risky because he doesn't offer that much in lanes. He definitely needs kills in the mid game to be effective, and you need the Blink Dagger as well. It's a very risky pick. It's a 50-50, as some people say. You either get it or you don't. And if Tim's, in this case, for example, he demonstrated what it's like to be cancelled on the Earthshaker. Not much impact. He can still get some fissures off. That's nice. But 27 minutes in, you want a hero that can do a bit more than fissure. He can only Echo Slam as a counter initiation, which is not what you're looking for as TNC. You need to start proposing kills. But this whole game, you've just been letting Fnatic run you over, let them fight whenever and wherever they want to, and you kind of have to hope that you can withstand the fight, which is the whole point of the tanky hero. It just has not worked out. The strategy is not that strong in these kind of games, especially not against a TA, who's able to quickly just cross your tanky front line and kill your supports, therefore rendering you useless in the team fights. I'm going to take a Roshan now for Fnatic. It's, well, really easy with the TA, right? And I thought he had double damage, but no, this is clear. It's just how much damage he has, naturally, and he's going to find the Battering on the top lane. He has a Hurricane Pike. I love the choice of going for the Hurricane Pike also. Easier now, even, to get the quick kills on the supports, and even a way to get rid of the Bristleback who's trying to hunt you down, as if that's even possible.
We've spent the last 2 days saying how trash and unimportant the bottom tier 1 and tier 2 are for the Dire team. well, for the Radiant team to take and for the Dire team to defend.
Yep.
But in this kind of game, when you have this kind of lead, it is actually important for Fnatic to
don't give any tower gold.
disallow tower gold. Exactly, but you know, it's tower gold, but it's also the map pressure. Being able to take bottom tier 2, pressure the tier 3 there. If you are a Bristleback or a Centaur or something, able to kind of go and tank up the creep waves and just keep on pushing, Fnatic doing a great job mitigating any kind of exploits that TNC are looking for. But here we have it. Blink Dagger Earthshaker, 29 minutes in, finally arrives. As Fnatic are starting to look towards breaching the high ground ramps, we've got Aegis on the TA. She's for that Weaver with a fresh BKB. 10 seconds. TA 10-second BKB as well. It's go time. There's ice. Look for the jump. Finds the Bristleback. Melt Strike misses uphill. So Gabby pops the pipe, keeps his wits about him.
The Sandstorm's still going though, so Ice will keep this lane pusher finally. He gives up on it.
And the Solar Crest super handy as well with that evasion.
There's an age on TA, so she could just jump whenever she wants to. It's not that dangerous. You know, with the BKB to just walk off after you got one.
For the armor, sorry.
Yeah, the Solar Crest is helping actually. Now maybe go DJ. Ice goes a bit too far, gets a nice burst strike regardless, and TA almost kills Cuckoo just by looking him wrong. DJ in trouble now with the lasso, ensuring this kill occurs. But, well, TNC somewhat defends, right? They managed to keep...
They don't waste Echo Slam. Epicenter. Keeping that Echo Slam is super important.
Yep. So you end the Stampede, actually. Also pretty big. Unless Ice can get the kill on Cuckoo. Cuckoo's in a really bad position. Yolsethter sets up for this burst strike ideally. Uses the Stampede, cancelled by the burst strike. In comes MP, uses the BKB, and now Cuckoo in trouble. It's gonna die here easily. Oh, Savage from behind. S destroys both cores. Savage trying to find him, but you can't look at him because Abed will just destroy you with his attack damage. With that burst strike, stopping Armel as well. The Echo Slam committed finally with a Blink Dagger. It's a nice reveal. Teams gets it. MP is gone. Abed cannot fight the Medusa. The illusions will actually end up killing Abed. And the Aegis is gone. Now it's time for them to retreat. Seemingly, TNC do not want to be greedy here. They'll lose more than they need. But okay, Jabs read that very wrong. Sacrificing himself here for nothing.
And this is why shrines are so important. This is why teamfight positioning is so important. And when you're behind, we talked about it 2 games ago, where fighting in your base doesn't give you the opportunities and choke points to actually, kite out BKBs, play around shrines, have buybacks and TPs. It is the Radiant side, defender's advantage on that shrine. Fnatic get a little bit overzealous chasing the Centaur, but going up 2 ramps, committing aggressively with Blinks and Hurricane Pikes up onto that high ground is so damn risky. Fnatic give away a lot of their momentum. And it's a new...
Cuckoo also... sorry, that was also a fantastic reveal by Tims, right? With a Blink Dagger.
Onto the Weaver. Like, it was a solo Echo Slam onto the Weaver. He only caught one, but it was the only one he kind of needed to catch. That Medusa stood her ground with that freshly purchased Skadi, slowing people down. But yeah, it's a breath of fresh air here for TNC, as they can maybe now think about starting to leave their base and cross the river from time to time. Fnatic very likely waiting for that 3rd Roshan to really commit and consolidate the lead that they have.
And the Medusa's Skadi is actually pretty big. Not only tank ability, but often overlooked. 45 attack speed reduction. But the TA has not the best agility game for being an agility carrier. Usually rely on the burst and then getting 2 or 3 hits to finish someone off. Definitely not the case with Medusa, right? You need to keep hitting. If you fight a 1v1 against Medusa without 45 attack speed reduction, that's like a, level 2 liquid fire, more or less. It's not the easiest thing. You can get a lot of damage taken away from you. And you also have to deal with a super tanky Medusa. Abed is starting to reach his peak in terms of damage, and he's been dominating this whole game, but obviously there's a reason why TA is not a late game carry. If he was good at any point in the game, and everyone would just pick the TA. And the Medusa can start to stand his ground, and the Butterfly might make a difference if it wasn't because Abed already has an MKB predicting that Butterfly, and also a fantastic item on the TA.
Ice went for a solo play, tried to look for Cuckoo in the mid lane, busted out the Epicenter, but they're 4 staffs. And all the save they have with the pipe on that Bristleback keep Cuckoo nice and alive. And the pushes do come in, the double-pronged attack, mid and bottom lane, shoving the waves in. Ice goes to clear out top. And yet again, the map closes in around TNC. They're smoking. They're moving out. They're looking for another team fight around their shrine. Buyback-wise, we are looking at Bristleback as the only one of the Radiant with it as they jump the SD. Quick and easy kill on that Shadow Demon. As a turnaround, big Echo Slam. Tim's catches 3. Then the BKB has the time to cheese, but he's not able to get it off. MP somehow dies through it all. Has no buyback. 3 heroes down. Fnatic losing out now. Same place, same position. They try to fight near this Radiant Shrine, and yet again they lose out.
Oh, they don't catch Ice Ice with a fissure, but Bristleback is still chasing. I think Ice Ice should be fine. Regardless, what a play there by Tims. Jesus Christ, this man has been on fire ever since he got a Blink Dagger. And we were saying, yeah, the Blink Dagger is so important for Earthshaker. Tims is confirming this to us, like, yeah, that's the only thing I need. I don't need anything else. He even has Ghost Scepter now to deal with the TA much nicer and with the Weaver as well. And let's be honest, Ghost Scepter completely cancels them. And the Deuce is getting closer and closer to the Butterfly, which might not bother the TA, but will certainly bother a Weaver that's nowhere close, just near the MKB.
The timing of this all happening, though, Jabs with Obs and Sentries was trying to give vision, try and get some wards down in this area so they can take control of it. And TNC come in at exactly the right time. They kill him off before he can ward. And all of a sudden, Fnatic, they are looking at a fight where everything is dark. Their eyes are closed. They've got nowhere that they can actually maneuver themselves towards any kind of positive teamfight outcome. And we're looking now at a Bristleback with full BKB done. And this tanky, obnoxious late-game lineup from TNC starting to come to fruition.
Yep.
As Fnatic faltering.
You have the Butterfly now ready on the Deuce for the next team fight. You also have to take away the double damage, though. Ice in that Sandstorm. Just to scout a bit for now. TNC getting cold feet about initiating. They catch the Deuce with a burst strike. Can they get her with disruption as well? Yes, they do. Where's the follow-up? Oh, nice stun there. Stopping the follow-up completely. And his Jabs actually gets disintegrated. But Cuckoo in trouble. Forced to stampede himself away. The fourth of saving his life as well. And they finally get the kill on a bed in the middle of the team fight with a lasso. He couldn't do anything. Now DJ alone without his teammates. His heart's already broken, and soon his face will TNC is getting back into this game, and very strongly with this Dusa heard you last game saying you're not a late game carry anymore. Not that much about Dusa late game carry. He's like, yeah.
Who gives a shit about Dusa? Who cares about Dusa? No, she's not.
Wow.
What? Wow. Tell me, single thing that changed this game for TNC.
Okay, the Earthshaker Blink Dagger. Earthshaker Blink Dagger, yes, but Deuce has the damage. She has the damage.
Tims has blinked 3 times and he has won 3 team fights.
I'm not taking that away from him.
I don't care about this snake lady.
This snake lady.
They're pushing a high ground with a catapult. They're going to be taking the first tier 3 of the game.
That was also a really good lasso, by the way, by a bad rider that does not have Blink Dagger.
Oh, for sure.
So even more impressive. The Bristleback is just going to take this away. And I think these racks might actually fall. That Shrine's also huge. Jabs realizing the strongest hero in this game is the Dusa, so just get her illusions away. But those illusions are not as strong as the real thing. They constantly stun her, and oh my god, the damage there from the Soul Catch. Unfortunately, they can't capitalize on it. She'll get that HP back very soon.
Here comes Tims.
Here comes Tims. They managed to stop it. Oh my god! Echo Slam come in and just to stop Ice.
The buybacks, they're going to do nothing. They can't catch them.
Gabby, though, slow down by Diffusal Blade. What can they do here?
See ya.
Wow.
You know what's cooking. Boom. Absolutely destroyed.
Wow.
Bottom lane. What's happening down there? Illusions with catapults pushing tier 3. Drops to 555 HP. Nice.
Wait, Cuckoo might still be in trouble.
Nah, he's fine.
There's no way to cancel it.
MP has no stuns. MP still has the cheese. So that previous fight, he got chain stunned into oblivion. Couldn't pop the cheese. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know what's cooking, Gareth.
So what actually? So he got blinked on the previous fight near the shrine when he still had cheese because he got BKB off like in between stuns, but the stone gaze caught him during time lapse animation.
Yep.
Like he lifted his butt up in the air and he's like, I'm time lapse. Oh, I'm turned to stone.
And then the Echo Slam finished him off when he was trying to get the final cheese out, probably, or no, the final hits before the cheese. Trying to use the cheese super efficiently, and this puts you in a pickle, right? If you're the Weaver, because you want to use the cheese when you're as low on HP as possible. But with the Earthshaker, with the Bad Rider, it's becoming a more and more difficult endeavor. The catch there is there, and stopping you from using that ability completely. And was close to reaching level 25.
Go Tims! No Tims! No! He's got buyback. He but the Yule's up though. Catching the Bat Rider. Spirit Vessel there with the slow from the diffuser, but the Ghost Scepter gets you out of danger, and there's the Tims buyback. Fnatic have to retreat. Look at them, they're driving away. They've got to get out of here.
Yeah. Okay, now I was saying there's the... Oh, unless they go for Gabby. Level 25 is coming up. Abed already has his, gets the melt bash. The Weaver's close. No, he has the Shikuchi movement speed. And Armel's close to getting that. What do you get actually level 25? 1,000 mana, right? If you're not going
Armel? I don't know, with the Skadi.
I know that the modifier
Really
is
nice
useful.
getting the modifier, but 1,000 mana is so much tankiness.
It really is. And you don't have Mjolnir either, so, you know, unless you're planning on going for later, it's just for the Scotty modifiers.
You could go MKB next, right?
You could, that's true.
You don't need to, there's no butterfly or anything.
The Weaver not.
Honestly, it's a real difficult choice. It depends on how the player's feeling. Like, you've really got to get into the heads of the players to understand what they want to do with that kind of talent choice, because it is very much do I want to be aggressive or defensive? Soul capture on...
Nice step, Pete, saving Cuckoo.
I mean, that is a ton of... Like, it's 3,000 HP. Is it 60% on soul capture?
No.
40%.
Yeah.
At level 4.
But still, you have to... So the issue with this soul capture...
What is that? 1.3k HP?
On the Centaur?
Yeah. So one button press.
Yeah, 1.3. Yeah.
1.3k HP with one button press. That's insane. Third Roshan? Yeah, let's go.
Okay, we'll see. I like, by the way, that the Centaur Bell, I made a point about it earlier, but the Force Staff is acting as an axe, essentially. Who needs the axe to get through impassable terrain when they have the Force Staff? He's been really on point with those forced. I thought it would be just for the Dusa to save her, but instead it's been used on him all the time. And he's actually been just a sponge this whole time. And gets away with the Force Staff every single team fight. Now,
I wonder if Fnatic are going to take the title of intro boys away from Mineski. Where they do very well in the first 15-20 minutes and it all comes crumbling down.
Well, this time I think a lot of credit due to TNC, and mainly it's great Tims. Gabby will be in trouble. They have slowed him down, but this team fight's a bit divided. And Ice could be in more trouble here with a Flame Ring pushing him back. AU run towards him, but no Blink Dagger. Means it's so difficult to get this last one off.
Illusion. Blessings.
TNC just holding that mid lane, eyeing each other up across the river. Both teams just want to keep the lane shoved. Look at how many dire observer ward are around this area as well. Like double wards up towards the top rune spot for the dire team, one for the Radiant a bit further north. Sentries all over the place around Roche Pit. They're trying to get a bit more vision down as well with these traps, but they've got sentries all over the place here to TNC to clear them out.
Okay. TNC is keeping guard over this Roshan spot. They're stopping Fnatic from finishing, and Fnatic is a really good Roshan with the TA, but it's so difficult when TNC is, just walking in like that. Okay, you have a Solar Crest ready. Fnatic is still contested, but there's smoke from behind, making sure to catch him. Tims is ready with that Blink Dagger Echo Slam. What will Fnatic choose to do? This is a trap. Fnatic, a fissure. Stops it, and they force the Lesh defensively. BKB activates Centaur, Stampede as well. Lesh is gone. Gabby gained that kill, and they're hoping to kill MP as well, but he's way too quick for that. Then the BKB eats it, she's preemptively. Clever choice. The lasso. Who's gonna go for the lasso? Stopping it. You have it. Medusa, and the Stone Gaze has been committed here as well. They can get the kill on that bed. The Echo Slam stopping it. MP gets the way, but the
Fisher as well. Can it catch the Weaver?
No, MP is too far away. They're going to kill all of his friends instead. With DJ going down twice. Now trying to kill off Jams. They know the stun was there. Jams took it away with disruption. But MP, very odd positioning there. Thank God he has the movement speed.
The dieback on the Lesh as well.
Huge dieback on Lesh.
The BKBs do nothing for this Fnatic side. Like, they looked good 25-30 minutes in, but all of a sudden this Dusa, this Bristleback, is pumping the physical damage through the BKBs. They don't give a damn. And MP relegated to try and push bottom lane, but he's been caught. Tims, the sentry, the damage is there. Earthshaker solo kills the Weaver. They're gonna force buybacks. They're pushing high ground. They're spamming tips. They're giving it all they've got.
Oh, what will Fnatic do now? The Weaver immediately buys back. They don't want to waste the buyback on the TA just yet.
They might just have to, though.
They have to.
Gabby with 3,000 HP. Armel with 2.2k. Centaur with 3,500 and a refresher shard in his pocket. Tier 3's fallen. Borrow onto the back, but they've lost Jabs already. No buyback on your Shadow Demon now. And MP just tickling this Centaur doesn't do enough damage whatsoever.
With that, they'll take down the melee racks quickly. And Fnatic, they forced the biotic on TA for absolutely nothing there, because Fnatic can actually contest this. That is the worst case scenario. You lost the 2 biotics in your 2 main cores, in addition to Leshrac not having it either. And now you have to deal with this Dusa taking out your racks as well. Thank God your tier 1's still up, because otherwise this would be Mayor Keep game, and they might even go for tier 4s here. They have Aegis on Dusa, what is there to fear? Leshrac's back. But you still don't have this defensive disruption. Crimson Guard not helping that much and saving these towers. Look at that Dusa go!
Breaking the front line is so hard. Getting past the Dusa, past the Bristleback, past the Centaur.
As well, yeah.
Like, again, these 3 obnoxious, tanky heroes. You can't get into the back lines, and Weaver gets jumped immediately. And it's forced out to buy some time, get him away from danger. Swarm comes through, but Gabby, Armel, Cuckoo don't care. They're so damn beefy.
Now, the Bad Rider, the Mel, might get the kill, but the Ghost Hunter saves him. Stampede as well to help him out. The Perfect on the 2, it's not bad, but their 2 is way too tanky. Echo Slam, double Echo Slam! Make sure to kill the Lash, back to the fountain you go! Ice Science in a similar position, be activated, they just want to chase him down. And it just seems like GG will be called out. Weaver caught out in the backlines as well. Fnatic cannot defend this. TNC will win this game. And with this, a really good chance of making it to the Epicenter Major.
Well, that guarantees them playoffs, I believe.
For sure. But this might mean that they go to the Major themselves.
The first place direct invite, yeah.